A Silicon Valley home that has just hit the market is the area's highest price listing, with an asking price of a whopping $135 million. The estate sits on a massive 74 acres of land and is made up of 32 bedrooms and 26 bathrooms. Today, we'll be talking about the most expensive mansion in Silicon Valley. Ever wish walls could talk? Well, if the ones within this historic Woodside, California property built in the early 1900s for prominent San Francisco businessman and philanthropist Mortimer Fleischhacker Sr. could speak, they most assuredly would have their share of fascinating tales to spin. Think stories of distinguished guests roaming the halls during the compound's heyday as the site of the United Nations 20th Anniversary Commemoration Gala in 1965, for instance. Or maybe those walls could offer some keen insight into the secret lives of the countless dignitaries who have visited the storied estate at some point during the past 100 years. From US politicians and world leaders to the Crown Prince of Sweden, numerous ambassadors and more. So, who exactly is the man behind what would one day become one of the most extravagant private compounds in all of Silicon Valley? Fleischhacker was the founder of the Anglo-California Bank and Great Western Power Company, as well as the Community Chest, now known as United Way. He also served as a trustee of the University of California, and shortly before his death in 1953, he formed a foundation to fund performing and visual arts groups and literacy programs for disadvantaged students. As for how the compound came into existence, he was simply seeking an idyllic place to escape San Francisco's dreary, foggy summers. According to his great-grandson, Italian marketing executive Mark Fleischhacker, he headed south of the city to find a plot of land for a future vacation retreat in 1907 and settled on the perfect spot just 30 miles away. Then he set about amassing 9 contiguous parcels to create what today is known as Green Gables. And it is indeed the stuff of storybooks. Constructed in 1911, the compound has remained in the Fleischhacker family for 5 generations, with its members now deciding to part with their shares of the land for a whopping $135 million. For that price, the new owner will gain a spectacular English manor-style main residence, affectionately referred to as the Big House, designed by celebrated craftsman-style architects and brothers Charles and Henry Green, along with 6 additional dwellings and expansive grounds, punctuated by formal gardens and natural woodlands teeming with native California shrubs and flowers. Inspired by Fleischhacker and his wife Bella's extensive travels to the English countryside, the estate's design is based on the dreamy Tudor cottages the couple fell in love with in England's Cotswolds region. At nearly 10,000 square feet, the main home is ground zero for this beautiful design aesthetic, replete with a thatched roof, light-filled interiors, and large windows offering views of the Santa Cruz Mountains. Many of the furnishings were selected by esteemed New York designer Elsie de Wolfe, whose clients included Amy Vanderbilt and the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Surrounding the main home is a magnificent 60 by 300 foot Roman pool introduced by a lily pond and framed by stone stairways and arched grottos. Among the property's other structures, a rustic 2-story tea and dairy house, 6-bedroom William Worcester designed residence Fleischhacker built for his daughter in the 1930s, a duo of existing 1860s homes that were updated and occupied by staff, and former butler's residence now used by the estate manager. The final structure built on the property in the 1970s is known as the Oak Valley Home, and it has its own pool and in-law suite. The estate is also surprisingly close to the town's shops, restaurants, and the school in Woodside, one of the wealthiest and most vibrant enclaves in the heart of Silicon Valley. Features of the property include a stadium-size Roman pool and panoramic views of California's Pacific Coast Range. With the scaled main residence and carefully designed gardens surrounding the 6 additional homes, other amenities include 2 more swimming pools, a tennis court, an artist's studio, a barn, and a rustic 2-story stone tea house. One of the pools is built as a free-form pool shaped around a colony of oaks. The Roman pool, located steps from the main house, is built to look like ruins. There is also an expansive spring-fed reservoir, supplying much of the estate's irrigation needs, and a flower and vegetable garden. Aside from edible gardens and flower gardens, the grounds also have a lily pond, orchards, and olive groves. The home boasts 2 private roads, wooded trails, and, according to the listing, offers the potential for a vineyard and equestrian center. Green Gables is over 100 years old, but it is an incomparable modern-day compound that meets the exacting requirements of today's most discerning buyers, with its privacy, security, space, and accessibility, says listing agent Zackary Wright of Christie's International Real Estate. The family has carefully protected and maintained this grand estate. Are the probable future inhabitants perfectly suited to this peerless family compound, vacation getaway, or maybe even winery or corporate retreat? Woodside's proximity to the high-tech hub of Silicon Valley, combined with its climate and beautiful natural setting, makes it the ideal community for wealthy business leaders, says Wright. And the unique expanse of Green Gables specifically makes it a rare parcel, ideal for private living and well-being. In essence, tech billionaires and venture capitalists, here's your chance to own one of California's legacy estates. So this brings us to the conclusion of today's video. Let us know how you liked the video on the Green Gables in the comments below. Until then, hope to see you in another video.